Hello and welcome. My name is Rauchenwald and I'm a popular investor on eToro. Chances are, if you're watching this, that you're currently on my eToro profile or that you found that video on my YouTube channel. Now, if you're on YouTube, you can check the links in the description down below to actually get a look at my eToro profile. And if you're watching this on eToro, well, there is nothing more to do other than lean back and watch the video in order to learn a little bit more about me, which will help you to decide if you should maybe copy my trades or not. But as always, when we're talking about trading related things, there's something I have to say at the beginning of this video, and that is, whatever I'm saying in this video, it's not financial advice, it's my personal opinion. You shouldn't listen to some talking head on the internet that tells you how to make money. You should do your own research and talk to professionals for that. So keep in mind, whatever I'm saying in this video, it really reflects only my personal opinion. You may agree with it, you may disagree with it, but it's in no way financial advice that tells you what to do with your money. Now that that is out of the way, let's move on. Now let's start with some background information about me. I was born in 1987 in Austria, and I'm kinda like a little bit of a nerd. Since I'm 12 years old, I've been dealing with programming and software development and consulting in those fields as well. I attended a school for technical computer science and internet engineering, where I dropped out when I turned 18 to become self-employed. During my first couple of years as an entrepreneur, I also developed an interest into financial markets and eventually even transitioned and became a full-time financial consultant for quite some time. That's when I initially started to learn about the stock market, investment funds and other assets that can be traded and how you can build your long-term wealth as you go. After some time, however, I transitioned back into software development and e-commerce consulting. I moved to Thailand, spent almost 2 years there, spent another year on the Philippines, followed by 4 years in Germany, and now since early 2019 I'm actually living in Ukraine. During all the time I still kept an eye on the stock market and on other things. I didn't invest a lot because, to be honest, during some of those years business wasn't going as well as it used to be, and so I put most of the money that I made back into business to keep things growing and to move forward. Now in 2018, almost everything changed for me personally because I met my now wife and business partner Irina, and it forced me to rethink the way I deal with money. Where previously, while I was single most of the time, I could do whatever I want and take high risks, because if I would screw up, it would only affect my life. But now being married, things changed. I have to consider what happens to both of us. Now that mindset shift was actually one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it kind of like made me understand why I shouldn't take too many risks and why I should look at things in the long run. Eventually that also led to me starting my first out of 3 eToro accounts. And thanks to a decent performance during the first couple of months on that eToro account, it only took us 93 days to be accepted as popular investors on eToro. Now obviously with my main account I'm still working towards higher levels within the Popular Investor program, not only to achieve a passive income through the Popular Investor program, but also to increase the amount of money that we have, so to increase our profit that we make from trading as another long-term income stream or long-term investment, and eventually to achieve real wealth. Now, before I'm going to answer the question if it makes sense for you to copy my portfolio or not, I want to point out that, as mentioned, I have a total of 3 eToro accounts. The first of those 3 accounts is the one where I'm personally trading, and I'm trading without leverage, and it's meant as a long-term investment. Now, the second account is meant for me as a copy portfolio. You heard about diversification. You shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. So you should not put all your funds into my portfolio, just like I'm not trading with all my funds myself. But I have a second eToro account that I'm using specifically to copy other popular investors and to diversify our portfolio as well. So if you're not sure if you should copy my portfolio or if you're still looking at other popular investors, I recommend that you also check out my second account and simply look in the portfolio to see who I am copying, because most likely those traders may also appeal to you. You can find a link to that account also either in the description of the video if you're watching this on YouTube, or in the post that goes along with that video on eToro. Now, the third account I have on eToro is meant for me to trade with leverage. It's meant for high risk trades, and it's something that you most likely should not ever copy at all. I'm doing this to keep our main portfolio clean and secure and with an acceptable risk score, but to still give me the potential to use a small portion of our money for high risk trades that potentially have high rewards. Again, you can also find a link to that account either in the post description or in the video description below, depending on where you're watching this. Now let's talk about if you should copy my portfolio or not. If you're looking for a quick way to make money within the next few weeks or within the next 1 or 2 or 3 months, then do not copy my portfolio. This account is meant as a long-term investment. I'm doing my best to generate a profit every month, but it's simply not possible and it's not the main goal. I'm not going to take too much risk just to try to get a negative month into a positive month, but I rather invest in stocks that I truly believe in based on technical analysis and other factors. And if they turn red through 1 month, I will not go above and beyond to try to correct that immediately, but I have the patience to wait until the stock recovers, even if it takes a year or more. In fact, if you take the time to look, for example, at the historical data of the Dow Jones, you will see that the stock market always has some kind of corrections, but you will also notice that in the long run, over periods of 8 or 10 years and longer, it usually is having a decent profit. And that's why it's crucial that you have the patience that it takes to wait out if some positions are just not working the way you want them to work right now. Now, what kind of performance can you expect within my portfolio? Honestly, I cannot make any promises there. I'm aiming for a performance north of 10% per year, but obviously there are no guarantees. Previous results, as always, do not guarantee any future results. And just because I had a couple of good months initially, it doesn't mean that that run will continue. Obviously, since I'm trading with my own money here, I'm doing my best to make sure that we have a long-term profit, but there are no guarantees involved, and that means I cannot guarantee you that we will reach 10%, 15%, 5%, or maybe minus 10%. So again, you need to be aware that depending on how things are going, this is going to be a long-term investment, and only if you're willing to commit long-term, you should consider copying my portfolio. If you're not willing to commit, then again, check the link and look at my second account where I'm copying other popular investors, and maybe one of them suits your needs better. The next question would be, how much money should you invest at least if you want to copy my portfolio? Now, you are aware that copy trading requires at least $200, and you may also be aware that the smallest position that can be copied can be $1. So simply put, you need at least 2% of the popular investors' account balance in your copy to ensure that all trades can be copied accordingly. If you have less money assigned to that copy, it will not open all trades, and therefore your performance will not be the same. Now, based on that and the fact that the minimum position that a popular investor can open in most assets will be $50, you can say that with a $200 copy, you can copy popular investors that have up to $10,000 in equity within their account. Since this video serves as an intro for the foreseeable future, I cannot tell you if $200 will be enough right now or if you will need more. For that, please check the description of the post on eToro or the video description below, because I will update the minimum amount there. That leaves us only with one other important thing that I want to point out. It's important that you do something with your money. It's important that you invest a portion of your money. And to put it simply, something I learned by reading The Richest Man of Babylon, you should put aside at least 10% of your monthly income. If you do that from day number 1 when you receive your first salary, you will learn to live with 90% of your income. You will not miss the 10% that you invest, and eventually they will sum up to a huge investment. However, before you start investing in stocks on eToro, you should make sure that you have at least 2 to 6 months of your monthly expenses on a regular savings account for emergency expenses. This is not meant for you to take the money to buy a new PlayStation or a new TV. It's meant to ensure if you have emergencies, maybe a car repair, maybe your washing machine breaks and some other things, that you have the liquidity available to cover those expenses without taking out debt. Now, you can build up that emergency fund simultaneously with your stock portfolio on eToro by, for example, putting 5% of your monthly income on a savings account and depositing 5% on eToro and adding it to a copy, or trading yourself. The important part is that you should definitely build up that emergency fund so that when things go bad, you do not have to touch your stock portfolio. Now, an additional benefit of depositing funds every month means that you will benefit from something called the cost average effect. If we buy a stock here and the stock price falls and you deposit again and assign it to the copy, you will get more shares at the lower price, which means even if the stock only recovers, you will actually be at a small profit because on average you bought at a lower price, so it makes sense to deposit money monthly. I am also depositing additional funds from time to time into our eToro portfolio, and I'm doing that to achieve the requirements for the higher Popular Investors program. However, once I achieve the highest Popular Investor status, I will stop depositing money into this account and will simply open another account so that your copy portfolio is not affected and you're not required to deposit funds to synchronize your portfolio over and over again. Now, another important thing when you consider to copy my portfolio or other Popular Investors on eToro is paying taxes. You will have to pay taxes depending on which country you're living in and so on, depending on how many trades you execute, how long you hold these positions and so on. And it's your responsibility to reach out to an accountant or another qualified professional to figure out how many taxes do you have to pay, for example, if you hold stocks for less than a year or longer than a year. And depending on that, there could be a Popular Investor that has a great performance, but because he's keeping trades only for a short period of time, you would have to pay more taxes, and as a result, another investor that has a lower profit on eToro will actually result in a higher net profit for you because he holds the positions longer and you will have to pay less taxes on that profit. So it's important to do your due diligence and look into the tax situation within your country as well. Now, last but not least, while other Popular Investors may be full-time traders and provide you with daily updates about what they're doing, or at least twice per week or something like that, I'm also sharing updates from time to time, but I'm only doing it when I think it's necessary. So if you don't see a new post from me every day or every second day, don't be discouraged. I'm checking our portfolio on a daily basis. Even on the weekends, I'm taking the time to analyze a couple of stocks and other assets to find new opportunities and to adjust our current portfolio accordingly. If you have questions in the meantime, if you have ideas into what we should potentially invest, or if you disagree with some of my decisions, you can always leave a comment on my newsfeed or create a post and tag me in that post, and I will take the time to answer your questions, usually within 24 hours. Now again, thanks for watching this video and for the advance and trust that you're even considering copying my portfolio on eToro. I'm looking forward to whatever questions and suggestions you have to offer, and I promise that I will respond to any comment you leave within roughly 24 hours. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Till then, bye-bye.